Good morning and welcome to Unit 1, Introduction to Short Fiction. Hopefully at this point you've looked at the welcome video. If you haven't already, please watch the welcome video first to orient yourself in the course. In this video, I'm going to be outlining what to do for this week, our very first unit. So for each unit, I'll have a welcome video, just kind of giving you some information on due dates, expectations, and course objectives. I'll also always sort of remind you what we're accomplishing in this class with the 3 objectives I outlined in the syllabus. This week we're going to be thinking about John Cheever. We're going to be sort of dabbling in some ideas about why someone might write a short story, and also your first introduction to a short story written by the same author, John Cheever, called The Swimmer. Each week, we're going to have a terms and concepts unit, which asks you to understand a particular element of fiction. So for this week, we're thinking about the very most basic building block of writing, which is theme. On page 53, I have here a Google book. All you have to do is search for page 53 and read the one page on, what it discusses in terms of theme. A theme that I'd like you to sort of interpret or to apply to what you're reading in this book is what you'll do is click on, we're going to be beginning for each term and concept a slide deck. And so what I'd like you to do is click on this link and it'll open up our class slide deck, which you can then have editing power to maneuver however you wish. So what you do is you click on Unit 1 theme, and for the instructions for this particular terms and concepts aspect of class, I'd like you to include the title of a source. My instructions here are as follows. I want you to include a theme from a recent film, book, short story, or other media that you've dabbled in recently. Include the title of the source, the theme as you understand it according to the readings in our Google book, and a short quote from the source that illustrates that theme to support your point. So to add to the slide deck, you simply have to click on the link above as I showed you, and begin adding text to the specific slide for Unit 1. Please include your name after your entry, and I've already sort of outlined what to include. So the title of the source, it could be a film, that's fine. The theme, a complete sentence, and then also a quotation from the source with your name. An image related to this source or theme will also be really helpful. And so this will be a nice way of kind of testing out and seeing what kinds of themes we see out there, both within our text, but I'm specifically asking you to think about a theme in something that you've read, viewed outside of our class. The second thing I'd like you to do for our class, since this is going to be sort of the foundation worth the most points every week, is called a reading collaboratively exercise. And this week we're focusing on John Cheever. Each week you're going to see a Google document. And so this is not the thing that you'll click on, but you'll actually click on the link here. Throughout this course, you'll be reading short stories closely, effectively, and collaboratively online. For this first exercise, please highlight just one sentence, word, or phrase that emphasizes the theme of memory or movement specifically by opening up and reading this document. So if you click here, you'll see that it opens up a Google Doc, and you all will have editing capabilities. I've allowed you to have the ability to sort of click on the document, and I highlighted by clicking and then right click and click on comment. And you can begin by adding anything you'd like. And I specifically want you to add one comment to our shared document, Why I Write Short Stories, this essay, that explains, comment twice throughout this reading by explaining how or why your chosen sentence, word, or phrase supports this theme of movement or memory. Leave one response, pure response, in each document by Sunday. So here we have Why I Write Short Stories. I'd like you to add 2 comments by Thursday. And then by Sunday, after everyone's already commented, I'd like you to have responded in some sort of way to someone else's comments, so to 2 other students. So you'll be making 4 comments altogether on this particular document. Then I want you to read through an actual short story by John Cheever called The Swimmer, which is a really famous short story. John Cheever is actually a writer from sort of the 20th century. He's usually a rapid writer, and he said he liked best the stories that he wrote in less than a week. Although he spent months working on The Swimmer, which came out in 1964, he originally wrote a draft of the plot as, quote, a perfectly good, end quote, novel. But then he burned it, apparently. He wrote, I could have very easily sold the book, but the trick was to get the winter constellations in the midsummer sky without anyone knowing about it. And it didn't take 250 pages to do that. So I'll be really interested to see what you think of The Swimmer, but instead of commenting on that in a Google Doc, you'll read it simply as a PDF. And I want you to include a favorite quotation from the short story and add it to your welcome or about me page on your Google site, which I'm going to explain in just a moment, so don't worry. I also include John Cheever's reading of his short story, The Swimmer, if you'd like to listen along perhaps and read it visually and sort of sonic experience of that short story. So it's totally up to you if you'd like to listen. If not, that's fine, but I do have a recording from YouTube linked there as well. So 2 readings for this week: Why I Write Short Stories and a very brief essay. And I want you to add some comments. And then the short story, The Swimmer, which you don't have to add comments to, but I do want you to find a favorite quotation from, and you'll include in the activity that I'm going to discuss in just a moment. So the third thing you're responsible for every week is a discussion board post. The discussion board posts are going to be through your Google Sites. And so what I'd like you to show you right now for the very first post for your very first discussion board is to create an About Me page through a Google site. Now, how do you do that? And I have instructions here creating an ePortfolio or Google site. You create a website for yourself by going to this link. And I have some screenshots of exactly how you begin to create this page for yourself. You can create a title for your site. And I like you to have your very first page on that site to be either about me or it could be introduction, however you want to do it. Your very first page basically is going to be a brief sort of introduction or about me page that gives us a paragraph or so about yourself. But as you remember above, I'd also like you to include one quotation from the short story from The Swimmer that just sort of resounds with you or sort of stuck with you as you were going through. And you don't have to explain it in too much depth, but I'd like just a little bit about you, yourself, inclusive of an image of yourself or something representative of you, along with a quotation from The Swimmer. In order to publish that site, I have instructions here on how to publish and then link that particular page to our discussion board post. So in order to post your discussions, you'll have to click here. And you click on Create Thread. My computer's a little bit slow. After you create your thread, all you have to do is create the title for your subject, and then you can insert the link for from your Google site. That's all you have to do. You don't have to type anything in here. Simply link the site and click Submit at the bottom. Once you've submitted your discussion board post, you can come back to the discussion board by simply clicking on that same link I showed you before and clicking on some other students, your peers' profiles, visiting their sites and giving them some words of encouragement for this first week. So again, there's always sort of 3 components in our units: the collaborative reading, the terms and concepts, and then the discussion board posts that will arrive through your Google site publications. So thank you so much. If you have any questions as you're going through, please send me an email. Otherwise, I think most of this hopefully will be pretty streamlined. I've had great success using these Google sites before, so if anyone has any trouble, I'd be happy to help you, but I think that as long as you can follow these instructions and have a sort of great time being creative with your Google site, making it your own, making your profile your own, and I look forward to working with you this semester I hope you have a wonderful first week getting your feet wet with John Cheever, thinking about short stories, thinking about memory and movement, and thinking about the possibilities that are to come in these coming weeks. Thank you very much, and I will see you on Blackboard. Have a great week.